Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today going to be jumping into a bit of I've made myself a list of everything I've got left to do. Sort of come to the realisation that I've got less than a month ish to get this finished, because I'm doing a barn bash at the Ipswich Suffolk Mini Owners Club barn bash the beginning of June, and we're now on the 8th of May, so very pressed for time. So I figured get myself a to-do list. I was hoping it was going to be a short to-do list, but it's not. It's a rather long to-do list, but never mind. A lot of those jobs are hopefully fairly small and easy jobs, so I'll cross them off fairly quickly. So just going to quickly rattle through some of the things I've got on the list here. So set the tappets, because the cylinder head is now on and torqued. Rockers are on, but I haven't set the tappets yet. That all went relatively well. Reroute heater pipes, so before they both came out here. That one is fine, that one should clear, so that's not going to be a problem because that goes to down there. But this one here, I'm going to have to reroute to somewhere around here. I know on the earlier cars they were routed somewhere around here anyway, so I'm gonna have a quick look at my other car, see where that came through, and just pick a suitable position. But I'm thinking probably, unless there's something behind here to hinder me, probably somewhere around here to then come onto here. That's my plan so far with that. TDC mark, the new pulley and everything, which is all fully on and everything, has got cutout in it, which is in the correct position. I've already checked that. I just want to make it a bit clearer for timing light. Certainly when you have shiny billet parts, when it's all spinning around with a flashing light at it, sometimes it can be a bit tricky to see. So I want to do some sort of black lines with a nice clear white line in the middle, so it's really obvious and easy to see with the timing light. Head studs various. That doesn't mean actual head studs, so I've got to swap all my stainless studs across to various bits. So from the 998 head, that's hopefully a fairly easy job. Final mount the coolant tank, so I've welded on, not the prettiest welding at all, welded on my bosses and stuff to the tank, so I'm going to give that a quick clean up and just a quick whoosh of black paint, I think, if I've got some. Then that can all be mounted properly on there. Got to wire in the fans, so run the wiring for these. I've got to extend some of the wires, and then run from the cockpit various wires that I need for my temperature thermocouples. So that's, yeah, at the end of the day, that isn't the most critical. So if I only get two, as long as I get the two fans wired and the two thermocouples for that done for now, that's fine. That means that can all be being controlled. The rest of it is just a monitoring side of it, so that's fine. What else have I got? Wiring in the coolant pump, so I've got to wire and mount the coolant pump. I've got some M6 stainless blind riv nuts. So I'm going to riv nut that to the kick panel, so that minimise any water ingress. I'll seal it all anyway when it all goes on, but I just wanted, blind riv nuts for that. I'm going to use the same riv nuts for this plate here, mainly because when I bought them, I had to buy them as a pack of 5. I'm only using one for the coolant pump because it's only got a single bolt, so I might as well use the other ones for that. Again, just trying to minimise any chance of any water ingress, certainly in the wheel arch. I've got to wire in and mount and plumb the new fuel pump. So I've got a facet metal fast road electronic solid state fuel pump. So this car had mechanical, so there's no wiring for that at all. So I need to do all that wiring from scratch, wiring, relaying, that sort of stuff. And I want to switch on the dash so I can turn it on and off as I wish. Then I've got to, this is in no order at all, make the new intake plenum. That's going to be quite a long job, and I need to get ordering bits, the sort of as much of that as I can ASAP, because that's, you know, delivery takes time, so that's all going to eat into my time. Got to make the carb pipe again, same, so I can mount the carb down here. All the materials for that I need to order. Rebuild the carb itself. I'm not going to go too crazy. Just going to strip it down, check what needle's got in it, put new needle valve and various gaskets and stuff, give it a good clean up, make sure there's no crap in there, and then that will go as is. I've been trying to order an air filter for it. I don't really want a K&N Type 1 because they're quite compact, they're only about that deep, they're not very wide, and on a normal application that's fine, but really I think forced induction, that's possibly getting a little bit on the small side. I wanted a Ram Air one. They're quite wide, probably double the width of a K&N. The element seems a bit more free flowing, which obviously means it's not going to stop as much crap, but I'd rather have the flow, and they're quite deep as well. However, what that does mean is I've got to try and package that. Unfortunately, they've sold out. With no idea when they're going to be back in stock, so that might have to wait, and I'm just going to have to try and fit whatever I can when it's in its final position. Have got an option of potentially a standard high quality universal style. It's not one of the, you know, the cheap Halfords ones. It's a proper, it's come off a Formula car, but it's fits on a tube, so I'd have to make a flange for that. So that's possibly an option, but I need to wait until I've figured out the position of the carb and work out if I've got room for that. Got the exhaust manifold, going to heat wrap it, not fully. I'm not wrapping the whole thing. I just want to wrap the top couple of pipes, because everything's so close. I'd rather have that little bit of extra heat protection. I know wrapping manifolds and stuff, you're more likely to lead to cracks and things like that, but which is why I don't want to go too crazy. I just want to wrap the sort of top elbow bits to try and minimise the, you know, heat dissipation with it all being so close down there. Got to plumb the charge cooler pipes, so work out all the routing for the pipes. That's hopefully going to be one of today's jobs, is figuring out where along here I can put some holes in to get the pipes to this side of the bulkhead, and work out a rough idea of, you know, where pipes are going to go, because unfortunately these two point opposite ways, so I think one of them is going to have to go round and follow the heater pipe, or where the heater pipe would have gone along here. But we'll see. I need more stuff in place to work that all out, really. Oil and filter change. Need to do that yet, but I'm not too worried about that. It's a 15-minute job, so that's fine. I need to refit the radiator and all that lot. Again, I want my charger roughly mounted, so I know what space I've got, and then I can, in case, because I'm going to have to swap belts and stuff. I'm going to need a longer belt and everything like that. So I think to do that, that's going to be my plan for that. So yeah, that's just going to have to go on as and when I find it. But again, you know, that's a 10-15 minute job. That's not a problem. Mount the washer bottle. Again, this isn't overly critical for June, but I need to make a bracket to mount my washer bottle somewhere in here. That's going to be fine. Wiring's fine because it's just on a short plug. I just got reroute the wiring over that side, and then turn the plumbing round so it goes off out into that wing. So that's fine. But again, I'm not too worried about that. That's quite low on the priority list. Mount the coil. Again, it's quite low. I mean, it's not low on the priority list, but it's going to be one of the last jobs because I'm just going to have to fit it wherever I've got space once everything's in. Got to figure out the breather system. I'm hoping there's a slim chance I can retain the original breather. I might put another breather in the rocker cover like they do on a lot of the races and stuff, and then but again I need to figure out, I want to go to a catch can really, so I want to figure out what space I've got and what space, more importantly, I haven't got. So that will remain as is for now. It might be a case if it goes on the road with just a filter on that breather for now, or gets plumbed into the carb as it would have done originally. There is a pipe on the carb for that. I'm just not sure it's going to be big enough bore. Then I've got to plumb and wire in boost gauge. I've nabbed the boost gauge I had in the Volvo, so I took that out the other day, so I'm going to mount that on the dash, just find somewhere. The dash isn't pretty, there's gauges everywhere, sort of how I like it, but I just got to find somewhere and then, plumb it. Wiring my intake air temperature gauge, so it's just a little digital readout. It's just going to mount on my dash, and that will tell me the intake temperature of the manifold and between the carb and the charger, so I can see the effect of the charger and the cooler as one package. I could get away with just the one. I mean, I could get away with nothing. Most people don't really care, but I want to know what the temps are, and I could get away with just the one in the inlet manifold, but I think it's only an extra £5 or £6 for one that does two. So I'd be quite interested to see the difference between the two, because I'd imagine the pipe up to the charger is going to get considerably cooler. Well, I know it's going to get considerably cooler because it's not being heated up, but it will hopefully help me fault find if I have problems with cold weather, that sort of stuff, with that freezing. It will hopefully help me fault find that a little bit more. The more information you know with anything like this, the easier it is to figure out when problems inevitably do happen, because they're going to happen, let's face it. Refit the exhaust system, that's easy peasy, no problem there. Blank the original mechanical fuel pump, I've already got blank for that, so it's just a case of taking the pump off and fitting it. As part of that as well, I need to reroute or figure out a safe route for the fuel line past the exhaust. Yeah, I don't know yet. I might end up having to chop off a little bit of the steel fuel line as it comes up past the subframe and reroute it a different way. But again, a lot of that I can't really figure out until I've got more stuff in place. The fit the carb and work out throttle cable. So one of the other things I need to order is a throttle abutment plate and a throttle lever mechanism. This car doesn't have one, so I need to work all that out and work out a sensible route for my cable, so I'm not putting it through any horrible turns or corners. Fit and wiring new engine temp gauge. So the temp gauge that I had in it, the original dash one, packed up, the voltage regulator packed up, and this is the Japanese made, it's not a JDM thing, but the Japanese made dials. They don't have a replaceable regulator. It's a coil regulator that really crudely opens and closes some points to regulate the thing. That obviously got corroded and just didn't work, so the fuel and oil temp were just sky high and they're way out of scale. The fuel level I can cope with. I got to the point where I could work out, actually when it's on empty there's still probably another 15 litres in there, and when it's on full it's right off the gauge, so now I can work with, but the temperature one couldn't, so I bought just a set of gauges. All the gauges work fine except the temperature one. Don't know if it had a brand new sender, but I don't know if they're compatible. Didn't really trust it that much, and obviously having engine temp is going to be one of the critical things with this whole build, is keeping an eye on that engine temp. So I bought a TIM gauge, wherever it is. Where's it gone? I'll put it in the car. Which comes with its own sender and everything like that. So I've just got to wire that in. The wires themselves are there. It's just a case of swapping them over to that gauge and then fitting the temp sender in block with its adapter head. Sorry. Then refit the alternator. That sort of stuff. That's all dead easy. Refit the bonnet again, nice and easy and right near the end. And then say fit the blank for there. Try and fit an all temp sender in it somewhere and figure that out. But again, if that doesn't happen now, that's not the end of the world. And hopefully, then the last thing on the list is going to be make some whining noises with a supercharged charge-cooled 1 litre mini engine. Or make some banging noises, who knows. But there's still a fair amount to do. So what my plan is today is to just gonna put the coolant tank back on, figure that out. I want to get this cut and either mounted or at least painted, work out where my pipes are going to go, mount the pump, and basically get all the holes that I need in this panel so that I can then just go around, touch up all the paint on all the holes before everything's actually finally mounted, because I don't really want to, I'm trying to minimise the corrosion risk of all this lot. So filling in the holes and just painting them, trying to stop them corrode, and then everything can be final mounted after that. So that's my plan for today. How far through that plan I get, I don't know. But I'm going to start off by making the plate, the blank for the cold air feed. So I won't film me making it. It's alley fabrication. There's nothing really too involved with it, and it's not going to be pretty because I'm not a fabricator. But as long as it's functional, and that's fine. I won't be able to finally mount it because I just need to borrow a Reroute gun, or Reroute tool, should I say? It's not actually a gun, and so I can at least get it all, cut and shaped, and then work out where my pipes are going to go. So I will join you again, and hopefully in a couple of seconds' time, it will be all done. So here we go, and like that, there we go. So I've made alley plate to go on there. Just got to do the rev nuts and then just inevitably file the holes slightly. So it's all just mocked up just for working out hole positions and stuff. So that actually goes through an existing hole. I've ordered some grommets to make these holes nice. So this is 20mm and this is 5/8, 16mm. So what my original plan was to run, because annoyingly the pump is 20mm, everything else is 16 or 5/8. So originally my plan was to run 20mm out to somewhere around here, and then I've got these 90s, a 20 to 16, run one of them and just go that way through there. This 20mm stuff is so stiff, you just can't really work with it, so I'm now trying to keep those lengths as short as possible. I mean, the 5/8 stuff isn't much better, but it's it is a bit more workable. So once that's all properly mounted and everything, there'll be really short. Let me just grab the union. So there's going to be a really short piece of 20mm, or basically just as a joiner. And these are the 2016s. So that will then sit on there like that. I've got a fitting coming, 90-degree fitting come out of here. So that will then be 5/8, a short section of 5/8 pipe across to there. Then so basically the coolant level will be somewhere around here. I think I'll play around with that, but somewhere around here to allow for a bit of expansion and that. Come out of there, through the pump, out the pump, through there. And I think probably the easiest route for it, again, a lot of this is I'm gonna have to wait until everything's in situ to work out spaces and stuff. Is going to be across the top here and then somewhere around here and go in on the near side facing fitting, whether it be that side or that side, depends what way around I have the charge cooler. And then from the charge cooler, it will come out the charge cooler into the rad here. So again, just plumbing it some which way that clears everything into the charge cooler rad, out charge cooler rad, back into the top of the tank. I've opted to cool the coolant on the way back to the coolant tank rather than on the way to the charge cooler, because a bit of packaging really, you know, the runs actually work quite nicely doing it that way. But it also means that you're not basically storing hot. You're not storing hot. Well, I mean, it will be hot, but coolant hotter than it needs to be, and then cooling it on the way to the charge cooler. It's already cooled there. It will then cool a little bit more because it's an alley tank and it's in air and stuff. So, but I think that's going to be negligible. Yeah, I think it just feels like the right thing to do, to take the heat out before you store it, rather than store it hot and then try and cool it quickly on its way back to the charge cooler. That might be completely the wrong thing to do. I did a load of looking online. There seems to be no rhyme nor reason as to what way around people do stuff, so I figured this is the easiest way logistically of plumbing it all in. If this for whatever reason doesn't work or gives me problems, I don't think I'm going to have problems bleeding stuff, because the tank is as high as I can get it and it should be the highest point in the system, give or take odd loops which I can just bend down. The pump is below the tank, so the pump should prime really easily, not have any problems with that. Hopefully it should all work, and if not, I can replumb it at the end of the day. It's only some 5/8 pipe, which is relatively inexpensive. 20mm pipe on the other hand is quite expensive for what it is. As for the wiring of the pump, that's going to be nice and easy. It's just a plug there, so I'll just be able to cable tie that and basically just follow this and go through one of the holes or create another hole next to it. I don't know yet, but that's going to be fairly straightforward. So that's fine. I'm happy with where the tank's mounted. That's fine. The rad's all mounted nicely. So yeah, it's good progress. Annoyingly, I'm waiting for the fitting for in there. Otherwise, I'd do that run there. It's all a bit, as you always find with plumbing and stuff like this, what they say the pipes are and what they say the fittings are, they're not. But you just have to work with it. I mean, like for instance, the larger inverted commas 20mm hose, actually 19 3/4 inch, because it seems like you can't buy 20mm hose unless you go to an industrial supplier and buy it in like 30-meter rolls. I only needed less than a meter, so I've had to go for 19 and then basically heat the ends up and stretch it over the fittings. Isn't the nicest thing to do, but it's going to help seal it. They'll have Jubilee clips on anyway, and again, if it causes a problem, I'll deal with it when it causes a problem. It's all fairly easy stuff to work on. It's all easily accessible. Certainly none of this side of it is hidden away and hard to get to, so that's my thinking behind that. And yeah, so I think I'll cross a couple of things off my list, not quite as many as I was hoping, but I've certainly now got a much better idea of the way things are going to be plumbed. I think the plumbing side of it is actually going to work really nicely. The rest of it is just going to have to fall into place. So one of the next jobs to do is going to be sorting out the wiring for the pump, get that in. So I want to switch on the dash so I can turn the pump on and off, because for instance when I do a couple of test runs on Ep11, I'm not going to want to run the charge cooler because that will cool it too much. You end up with charge temperatures too low, and you end up condensing the fuel and stuff with a suck through carb. So yeah, I want to be able to turn that off, turn the whole system off, which should be easy enough. But it means I've got to run more wires and everything, terminate the plug before I've got a proper genuine plug for that as well, which is handy. Try and keep it all fairly neat. So yeah, I think that's about it. Hopefully, I think the next thing I'm going to really start getting into is the inlet plenum. Unfortunately, I've got to completely chop up the manifold that came down to its basics, basically. So the plate that the supercharger sits on and the inlet manifold flanges, the pipes aren't going to be any good. I can't get hold of pipes the same diameter as that. I can get the right ID or I can get the right OD, but I can't get both. So I'm just going to start from scratch and use the plate as the very top, build a plenum underneath it, and then do my own tubes straight into it. And because I want to lower the whole lot down closer to the bulkhead, that's all just going to mean I've got to start from scratch. So that's going to be the next thing, so I can at least get materials ordered, work out pipe sizes, lengths, what sort of bends I want. If I want any bends, I might not need them, would be handy. And then get some steel ordered for making up the carb flanges and the charge cooler flange itself that holds the charge cooler in. So yeah, it's all getting exciting, but there's also an awful lot still to do. So good progress for today, and hopefully I'll be back out here tomorrow to crack on a bit more. So I'm going to sign off for tonight. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I've had quite a few comments asking sort of details about the build, which is really good, really nice. You know, I'm here to share my progress and my thoughts behind things. So if anyone's got any questions, queries, anything like that, just stick them in the comments and I'll do my best to respond to them as soon as I can. And yeah, hopefully getting a bit more frequent with the video uploads again. I've got it down to a bit of a T now where I can edit them fairly quickly. A lot of that's in the filming of them, trying to condense that down a bit. But yeah, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.